upset the Lions in a 31-point blowout on the road. The Jets had 5 total interceptions for the first time in 19 years. And after the game, linebacker Darren Lee said the Jets knew Stafford signals, adding, quote, "We were calling out their plays as he was getting to the line. We knew everything." Shannon, how much did stealing signs help the Jets?
It's a huge advantage. There's a reason why the Spygate happened. Skip, there's a reason. And the thing is that in 1996, Skip, what we would do, now when you watch game film, it has no sound. But Mike started having us watch game copy, TV copy. Mm-hmm. So, and you know that boom mic, you can pick up things. Mm-hmm. And so when you hear guys making calls, quarterback,
yeah.
I could, we're going to talk about this, Skip, but I saw last night that John Gruden's still running the West Coast system.
Yeah.
I saw Derek Carr look at Jared Cook, and he did this.
Yeah.
Now, I would have told the linebacker he's getting ready to run the lookie route, which means he's going to give you a little wiggle, and in 3 steps, he's going into the slant route. Now, when he gives you that wiggle, I want you to jump inside, and Derek Carr is going to hit you in the chest with the football because you know the signals. Mm-hmm. I know what signals mean. I know what this means. I know what this means. So if you know if you know the signal and you know the corresponding routes, you don't think that helps? You know this. You've been around the game long enough, Skip. Football teams and coaches don't do anything if they don't think it's going to help them win.
Yep.
From the way they practice to the way they eat meat to the way they eat. Everything they do is to give them an advantage and to win the game. Mm-hmm. So if I know your signals, Skip, it got to, and these players are smart. It got to the point, okay, we're calling a text block. Okay, when I text block, Skip, I'm blocking down on the end. The tackle's going to pull around. Well, he keep hearing me say text, text, text. He started jumping outside. So guess what? We had to go. Hey, man, I'm going to San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm moving to Dallas. Same thing. He didn't pick up on that.
Yep.
Or if I'm by myself, we got to block. Normally, I'm blocking.
Yep.
Zim would holler, Gilligan, I'm on an island. I got this guy by myself. Now, if Zim would have said, you're alone, what do you think that defensive end is going to do? He going to try and bull me over, Skip.
But after a while, you got to change Gilligan to something else.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to Coney Island.
Oh.
I'm going to car. I'm going to eat hot dog.
Yep.
Skip, combination block. Me and the tackle, we got a combination block, Skip. Hey, man, you want a burger and fries?
Yep.
That's a combo. So you have to switch it up. So if Matthew Stafford is coming up to the line and they've heard TV copy and they watched him and then he gives a certain signal, Skip, the defense meet too.
Okay.
That's why they also put the headset in the defensive guys because the offense steals their signals too.
They do.
Told a story in 1996, Skip. We was playing the San Diego Chargers at home. And every time we motioned to out of a certain formation, Junior say, I rest his soul, would yell Reno or Vegas. That was a cover 2 check. I'm like, Mike, every time we do this, they go to Reno or Vegas, which is a cover 2.
So you went to Vegas.
I ain't hit him up I ain't have a 13 for a $156 and 3 tubs. It ain't my fault you didn't change. Hey, I knew your signals. I tell my coach he put corresponding plays in.
Yep.
That's what happens. That's not the Jets' fault. Now I fault them for telling.
Yep.
Because I want to play him again. He's like, man, why they keep picking me off 4 times, Skip? I wouldn't have told him anything. So we had a great game plan. Coach came up with a great game plan. We were locked in. We were ready to play. I would never, ever tell how we were able to pick you off and how we were able to take you apart.
Yep.
I'm going to keep that on the hush because there's a chance we might see you down the road again. But I wouldn't have told. But this absolutely helps.
Okay. So before I get to how shockingly great Sam Darnold and the Jets looked, every time I looked up, there was a Jet running loose with the football, right?
Yes.
Like just running free, just running as fast as I've never seen anything like it. I'm saying, who are these people? I don't know them. But I will say this about Matt Stafford. I've watched a whole lot of Matt Stafford in my life, dating back to his days at Highland Park High School in Georgia. And I know he's had other 4 interception games, but I can't remember a time when I sat back and said he looks more lost than he did last night.
Yes.
He just looked like they had all the signals. That's what he looked like the whole night to me. So, bully for the Jets. This is the one game that you have oodles of time to prepare for because it's the first game. So you basically have the whole offseason to get ready for this, right?
Yes.
True.
So, did they know the signals from last year? That's shame on Matt Patricia and the new staff.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Did they? They must. I don't know. Did Matt Patricia come in and just say, let's keep doing what they were doing last year? I don't know. Because that's what had to happen last night,
Well,
right?
that's the same offensive coordinator, so I would assume that's the same offensive.
Okay, so they didn't change up anything.
No.
And yet, I'd forgotten Darren Lee was a Jet until last night because he was the 20th overall pick in 2016, and then he just disappeared. I don't know if you could go bust, but he was just a non-factor until last night. And all of a sudden, he was a huge factor because he did appear to know exactly where Matt Stafford was about to go with the football.
Yes.
So, bully for the Jets, but shame on the Jets after the game. And Darren Lee, who's never done anything as a Jet, finally puffed up his chest and starts telling the New York media that's been all over him that, hey, we knew everything. Well, don't say you knew everything. Why would you say it? Why would you divulge it? Why would you beat your chest after one game? If you know everything about Matt Stafford, can you know everything about Tom Brady? Or I don't know, do you have some new system in place where you can decipher signal? I don't know what they're doing, but they were all trying to make it very clear after the game. We weren't cheating. We were just studying. It was all about preparation.
Right.
And it reminds me of the great Tony Dungy, who was often accused by a lot of people I knew of quote unquote cheating. And he kept saying, no, I don't cheat. It's just, the quote was, it's just part of the game.
Right.
We try to decipher as the game unfolds what your signals are.
Yes.
And he said, we're not trying to steal. We're just trying to, it's the way the game is played, sort of between the lines. You know, you that's what you do.
Absolutely.
So do you remember when Deion Sanders, our friend Deion, went after Tony, you know, on NFL Network, they got into a big back and forth about how bad was Spygate. How bad was Spygate?
Right.
You know, how egregious of an act. Yeah, of an act. Yeah, you know, like how should he have been penalized for Spygate? And Deion was saying it's not that big a deal because everybody does that. Well, Belichick was taping the signals, videotaping the signals from an undisclosed, unauthorized position.
Well, no, he was doing it from the sideline.
Yeah, but
they said you can do it from an elevated platform.
Yes.
If you tape it from when you film the game.
That's true. So the point was, then Deion went off on Tony Dungy and says everybody knows that Tony would do this also.
Right.
Well, the truth is, everybody does it. It's almost like the Serena controversy at the U.S. Open the other day. Everybody's getting coaching. They all try to do it, but you call it on some, you don't call it on others, right?
Right.
So in this case, Darren Lee should just let it lay. Just let it go, because if you're that good at it, maybe it can benefit you down the line. Right. But it appeared they were way more prepared for Detroit signals than Detroit was prepared.
Yeah. But Skip, at some point in time, we're going to stop making excuses for Matthew Stafford. Ended it all. Mm-hmm. And this is what he is. He has immense talent. He can throw the ball probably 80 yards. But at some point in time, I'm tired of hearing these buts. The guy's, he got a $92 million contract. Mm-hmm. He was the first overall pick, so he's made $100+ million. At what point in time, what am I paying him for? I get no playoff wins. I haven't won a division title. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to be there in Green Bay for another 4 or 5 years. Kirk Cousins has another at least 3, and Minnesota is loaded. Now, we're going to find out about Mitchell Trubisky. But the Chicago Bears defense, they look really good.
Could be.
At what point in time do we say, okay, Matthew Stafford, it's time for you to be a top 5, top 6 quarterback and win the MVP. Get this team to win a playoff game.
I agree with you. He's always just 8 and 8-ish to me. He'll win you some games and he'll lose you a bunch of games.
Yeah, and he did have Megatron, who was the most dominant receiver in his era for a stretch.
Yeah. I think he's got pretty good receivers right now because Galladay is really good.
Well, you know, Golden Tate and Jones, he has some good receivers.
Yeah.
The notion that you need 3 Julios or 3 ABs or Evans or those type of receivers in order to be a good quarterback is not true. But him turning the ball over at an alarming rate, and that's the problem that he has, is that his turnover. Matt Patricia standing on the sideline like, man, I should have stayed my butt in New England. I had Tom Brady. I had we don't have no names on the defense, but we were solid, and I gave that up for this.
Isn't it funny how every assistant who leaves Tom Brady starts to struggle after they leave Tom Brady?
Well, they ain't got no Belichick.
Isn't it funny how Tom Brady makes it all work?
I mean, you struggle a little bit when mom and dad stop paying them bills. You struggle a little bit. You're like, man, you start to appreciate getting them good old 3 meals a day. You start to appreciate not having to pay for phone, not having to pay for rent. And then all of a sudden you get from under Coach Belichick, you're like, oh, man. Now I realize what Bill was doing.
Yeah, right. You realize what Tom Brady did just to cover up all of your blunders and all of your weaknesses and all your swings and misses. He just makes it all go. Now, back to a young quarterback named Sam Darnold. How did Todd Bowles and his GM play Sam Darnold. Just from the start, they just said it's his job to lose in training camp, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he won that job.
Yes.
And he went into that game last night knowing this is his job.
Yes.
If he messes up, it's his job.
Right.
Because Josh McCown's 39 years of age. He's still a very accomplished journeyman quarterback, but he's just overseeing. He is clearly the number 2 quarterback.
Yeah.
Yet in Cleveland, they make Tyrod the number 1, and Baker, they actually have a big announcement on Hard Knocks. You won second string.
You're still upset about
You won
that.
second string.
Congratulations.
Way to go. Way to
still
go,
upset
Baker. You're
about
the
that.
first pick in the draft and the reigning Heisman Trophy, and you're number 2. Way to go. That was really impressive. Over Drew Stanton. Way to go, Baker.
Donald showed me something last night.
So let's see what what happens. First play of the game, obviously he rolls right and does just a stupid thing that you shouldn't do in Pop Warner football and tries to throw it completely across the football field, and it gets pick sixed. But he goes to the sideline, and who's the first guy to aside? Josh McCown, saying it's okay. And I think it was Josh McCown who reminded him that Brett Favre's first NFL pass, pick six. Brett Favre did okay after that, right?
Yeah.
So Josh McCown's like, okay, I got this. And it felt like it broke the ice for him, and it actually took some pressure off him, like, okay, I can't be any worse than that, because you can't do much worse. It's a pick six. So I'm just going to go out and let it fly. And did he ever? And he looked great after that. And again, my issue with him, he's such a good kid. He tries too hard. And at USC, with all the Heisman hype and build-up last year, he would try to make the impossibly perfect throw. And he would hold on to the ball, and he was a fumbling machine, and he had way too many interceptions. So he was a turnover machine at USC last year. So after the pick six, I'm thinking, are we going to see more of that? We well might. But in this game, everything suddenly turned and broke right. They get the big 43-yard punt return, and all of a sudden he's set up in his 2 series after that with the short field. And he takes advantage. And I got to tell you, in Newell, he was running fierce, man. I mean, he is physical.
He is.
And Crowell looked like, I don't know, where was that guy in Cleveland? that was pretty impressive.
You know, the thing, what impressed me, Skip, as you mentioned it, is that he throws an interception on his first pass, NFL pass of his career. He throws a pick six. And I liken that everyone can get a tan when the sun's out. But when it's raining, when it's overcast, can you still get a tan? What I mean by that, Skip, when adversity, how are you going to respond? You know, you go out there in your first pass, you throw a touchdown, and you get going, you throw 2, 3. Everybody, when things are going good, like, hey, boy, ooh. But to have that kind of adversity as a young quarterback, the youngest starting quarterback since, 1950? That's saying something for him to do that. And so I tell you what, Skip, if I'm the Giants, and they would never say this, they better pray that this kid is not what he looks like he's going to be. Because if he is, and you got Eli, and you could have had this kid, boy, oh boy, the New York media, they might run the Maras up out of town.
They will not do that.
I know that, but I'm just saying, Skip, you talk about right. If this kid, Skip, you had a chance to get him. Now, and Saquon Barkley looks good, but let's just say, if I got a choice between having a running back for 10 years or a quarterback for 10 years, I'm taking the quarterback.
Well, all I know is it's a long season.
Oh, yeah. But he looked good.
He looked good.
Well, and Shannon, you brought up Patricia maybe missing his good old life.
Yeah.
All of our new head coaches, winless.
What?
Winless.
I know one guy didn't lose. I know not the guy that's making $100 million. You make $100 million as a coach.
It's interesting that you bring that up, actually, because, yes, John Gruden's second debut with the Raiders.
Teamwork, you guys?
We didn't plan that out at all, but I liked
Playing that last
Shannon.
night.
That was
I
great.
know.
Well, they started out really strong. It was because of course, Marshall